There's a moment in 1986 that nobody talks about. A rooftop in Yugoslavia. Cameras rolling. A tree 4 stories below. Jackie Chan stands at the edge, calculating the physics of his own potential death. His stunt team has already refused. Too dangerous, they said. The angle is wrong. The landing zone too narrow. One miscalculation and his spine shatters. He jumps anyway. The branch breaks. His body slams into the ground. Skull fracture. A piece of bone lodges in his brain. In the hospital, as surgeons work to save his life, Jackie Chan makes a decision that will define the rest of his existence. He'll never stop. Not for pain, not for fear, not for the very real possibility that the next stunt will be his last. But this story doesn't begin on that rooftop. It begins in a place much darker. A place where a small boy learns that love is conditional, that safety is an illusion, that the only way to earn your place in this world is to bleed for it. The boy's name is Chan Kong-sang. He is 7 years old when his parents leave him. Not temporarily, not for an afternoon. They leave him at the China Drama Academy in Hong Kong, a brutal training ground disguised as a performing arts school. His father, a cook, and his mother, a housekeeper, are moving to Australia for work. They cannot afford to take him, or perhaps they choose not to. The distinction doesn't matter much to a 7-year-old boy watching his parents walk away. Master Yu Jim-yun runs the academy with an iron fist wrapped in bamboo. The children here aren't students. They're raw material to be hammered into shape. The day begins at 5 in the morning. Stretching that tears muscle fibers. Acrobatic drills that leave bruises blooming like dark flowers across small backs. Opera training that demands perfection in every gesture, every note, every breath. The bamboo cane is Master Yu's teaching tool. It whistles through the air before it connects. The sound arrives before the pain. Jackie learns to anticipate it, to brace, to absorb. The strikes come for mistakes, for slowness, for weakness. Sometimes they come for no reason at all except to remind the children that suffering builds character. At night, 30 boys sleep in a single room, pressed together on wooden boards. Jackie lies awake, listening to others cry into their thin blankets. He doesn't cry, or he learns not to. There's a hardening that happens when you realize nobody is coming to save you. When you understand that tenderness is a luxury you can't afford. His stage name is Yuan Lo, Little Brother Lo. He becomes part of the 7 Little Fortunes, the Academy's elite performance troupe. They train 18 hours a day. They perform in theaters across Hong Kong, their small bodies executing impossible feats while audiences applaud. Behind the curtain, they collapse from exhaustion. They develop the pain tolerance of much older performers. They learn to smile through agony. Jackie excels at the physical. His body is rubber and steel simultaneously. He can bend backward until his head touches his heels. He can take a fall from 12 feet and roll back onto his feet. He discovers something crucial. When you're in the air executing a perfect flip, the world makes sense in a way it never does on the ground. Motion becomes meditation. Pain becomes purpose. But there's another lesson being carved into him during these years. A lesson about worthiness, about earning love through performance, about the terrible equation that says your value equals your willingness to suffer. Master Yu is not cruel in the casual sense. He believes he's building warriors, creating artists capable of inhuman feats. And he's right, in a way. The children who survive the academy become some of Hong Kong's greatest performers. Sammo Hung, Yuan Biao, Jackie Chan. They emerge from this crucible with abilities that seem almost supernatural. They also emerge with something else, a hunger that can never quite be satisfied, a need to prove something that was never in question, a belief, buried deep in the bone, that rest equals failure. Jackie is 16 when he finally leaves the academy. The world outside feels impossibly vast. Hong Kong in the early 1970s is exploding with cinema. Bruce Lee has just become a global phenomenon, transforming kung fu from niche entertainment into international obsession. Studios are desperate for the next Bruce Lee, the next icon, the next god. Jackie gets his first real film work as a stuntman. He's fearless in ways that terrify even veteran coordinators. He'll take hits that others refuse. He'll fall from heights that make insurance adjusters pale. His body is still young enough to betray him with its resilience. It heals fast, so he breaks it again. Bruce Lee dies in 1973. The shockwave ripples through Hong Kong cinema. Every studio in the city begins searching for a replacement. They need someone with Lee's intensity, his presence, his ability to make violence look like poetry. Jackie auditions. They see his skills. They see his dedication. They see everything except what matters. He isn't Bruce Lee. They try to make him into something he's not. They dress him in Bruce Lee's style of clothing. They direct him to move like Bruce Lee, to scowl like Bruce Lee, to embody the serious, dangerous masculinity that Lee perfected. Jackie complies. He's been trained to follow direction, to subsume himself into a role. The films flop. spectacularly. Audiences can smell the imitation. They see a young man desperately trying to inhabit someone else's skin. The more Jackie tries to become Bruce Lee, the more he disappears, the more he pushes, the more the industry pulls away. He's 19 years old and already considered a failure. There's a specific kind of desperation that comes from having trained your entire life for one thing and discovering that one thing doesn't want you. Jackie feels it in his chest like a stone. He considers quitting, leaving cinema entirely, maybe working construction, maybe disappearing into ordinary life the way most people do. But he can't, not because of ambition exactly, because of something deeper. The academy taught him that stopping equals death, that rest is weakness, that the only path forward is through pain. He's been conditioned so thoroughly that the idea of quitting feels like erasing himself. So he keeps going. He takes whatever work comes. He's a stunt double, an extra, a punching bag for other actors' fight scenes. He breaks his nose, cracks ribs, dislocates shoulders. His body becomes a map of near misses and direct hits. And slowly, something shifts. There's a director named Yuen Wu-ping who sees something others have missed. He watches Jackie move and recognizes that forcing him into Bruce Lee's shadow is like trying to make water flow uphill. Jackie's natural inclination isn't towards stoic intensity. It's towards something else, something Hong Kong cinema hasn't quite explored yet. The film is Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, released in This time, instead of imitating Bruce Lee's stern heroism, he's allowed to play a character who's clumsy, who gets hit, who uses humor as a weapon, who turns his own vulnerability into a fighting style. Something clicks. Audiences respond to the authenticity of it, to seeing someone on screen who doesn't pretend to be invincible, who absorbs punishment and keeps going not because he's superhuman, but because he's too stubborn to stay down. Jackie's comedy isn't slapstick for its own sake. It's the comedy of survival, of finding absurdity in violence, of laughing because the alternative is screaming. Drunken Master follows the same year. Jackie plays Wang Fei Hung, a legendary Chinese martial artist, but he plays him as an irreverent, undisciplined youth who has to be literally beaten into excellence. The film becomes a massive hit, not just in Hong Kong, across Asia. Jackie Chan has finally found his identity by stopping his search for one. But success in Hong Kong cinema comes with expectations that would crush most people. The industry demands constant output. 3, 4, 5 films per year, each one expected to outperform the last. Each action sequence expected to be more dangerous, more innovative, more jaw-dropping than anything that came before. Jackie founds his own stunt team, the Jackie Chan Stunt Team. They're not just colleagues, they're family. Brothers bonded by shared risk. They train together, they choreograph together, they bleed together. The loyalty runs so deep that when Jackie asks them to attempt something insane, they do it. Not because they're reckless, because they trust him. Except Jackie doesn't always trust himself. The stunts escalate. What worked in the last film isn't enough for the next one. He slides down the side of a building holding onto a string of lights. He leaps from a bridge onto a moving hovercraft. He fights on top of speeding trains. He allows himself to be hit with actual chairs, actual tables, actual pain because fake doesn't look real, and real is what the audience craves. There's footage that exists of Jackie Chan's injuries: broken nose, shattered cheekbones, dislocated pelvis, cracked skull. The list reads less like a filmography and more like a medical chart. Over his career, he'll break almost every bone in his body, some more than once. The 1986 fall in Yugoslavia during Armor of God nearly ends everything. The branch that was supposed to catch him splits, his body plummets, the back of his skull impacts rock. When he wakes in the hospital, there's a permanent hole in his head where surgeons removed bone to access his brain. He'll have that hole for the rest of his life. A reminder, a trophy, a warning he ignores. 3 months later, he's back on set, still dizzy, still recovering, but filming, always filming. His stunt team starts to worry, not about whether Jackie will recover from this injury or that injury, about whether he'll survive his own ambition. There are quiet conversations, interventions that don't quite happen, because nobody knows how to tell Jackie Chan to slow down. His entire identity is constructed around forward motion, around proving that he can endure what others can't. Behind the scenes, the psychological cost compounds. Jackie is married now, has a son, but fatherhood doesn't slow him. If anything, it accelerates his need to work, to provide, to build a legacy substantial enough to justify all this sacrifice. He's rarely home. When he is, he's distant, present in body but absent in the ways that matter. His son, JC, grows up with a father who's simultaneously famous and invisible, who the world adores but who remains somehow unreachable. There's a price for becoming what Jackie Chan has become. The price is paid in missed birthdays, in relationships that atrophy from neglect, in the slow realization that the persona you've built for public consumption has consumed the private person entirely. Hollywood comes calling in the 1980s. Jackie sees it as validation, the ultimate proof that he's transcended his origins, that the boy from the academy has conquered the world. He signs contracts, flies to America, steps onto sets expecting to revolutionize American action cinema the way he revolutionized Asian cinema. It doesn't work. American directors don't understand him. They want to use him as a martial artist, but strip away everything that makes him unique. The comedy, the vulnerability, the sense that he's one mistake away from disaster. They put him in films like The Big Brawl and The Protector, films where Jackie Chan plays a character that could be played by anyone, where his specific genius is sanded down to fit a template. The films fail, not as badly as his early Bruce Lee imitations, but badly enough. Jackie returns to Hong Kong humiliated. He's in his 30s now, old by Hong Kong cinema standards. The window for reinvention is closing. He could coast, make the same films that already work, replay his greatest hits until audiences tire of them. Many stars choose this path, the safe path. Jackie chooses escalation. Police Story is released in The finale involves Jackie sliding down a pole wrapped in light bulbs. The bulbs explode on contact. Glass shards embed in his hands. He dislocates his pelvis on landing. The pain is visible on screen. The fear is visible, and audiences are electrified by it, because what they're watching isn't movie magic. It's real risk, real consequence. Jackie Chan has created a form of action cinema that functions almost as a dare. He's asking audiences, how much are you willing to watch me endure? And audiences answer, everything. Show us everything. The sequels come. Police Story 2, Police Story 3, each one raising the stakes, each one pushing Jackie's body closer to its breaking point. He's in his late 30s. His body no longer heals the way it once did. Injuries linger. Pain becomes chronic. He starts to understand that the path he's chosen has an endpoint, that eventually physics wins, but he can't stop. Stopping means confronting what all this motion has been running from. It means sitting with the silence, with the question of who Jackie Chan is when he's not performing, when there's no audience, no camera, no validation. In 1995, something unexpected happens. Hollywood tries again. This time, they send a director named Brett Ratner, who actually understands what makes Jackie work, who's willing to build a film around Jackie's strength rather than forcing Jackie to conform to Hollywood's expectations. Rush Hour is released in 1998. Jackie is 44 years old, technically past his prime, except the film becomes a global phenomenon, not just in Asia, in America, in Europe, everywhere. Jackie Chan finally achieves what he's been chasing for 30 years, recognition in Hollywood, not as a Bruce Lee knockoff, not as an exotic curiosity, as himself. The success should feel like vindication, and it does, for a moment. But vindication is hollow when you've spent decades proving something to people who were never really watching, when the validation comes so late that you're no longer sure what you were trying to prove. Jackie continues making films, more Rush Hour sequels, Shanghai Noon, the Karate Kid remake. He becomes one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. Children grow up watching him. Adults introduce their kids to his films the way previous generations were introduced to Buster Keaton. But something is shifting inside him. Age does that. It forces reflection. It makes you take inventory. Jackie looks back at his life and sees the success, the money, the fame. He also sees the cost. His relationship with his son is fractured. JC grows up in his shadow, struggling with addiction and legal trouble. Jackie makes public statements distancing himself, protecting the brand, preserving the image. But at night he wonders if he failed as a father the way his own father failed him. If the cycle of abandonment simply repeated itself in a different key, his body is breaking down in ways that can't be repaired. Chronic pain in his back, his knees, his neck. He can barely move in the mornings without medication. The stunts that once felt like flying now feel like punishment. He hires more stunt doubles, uses CGI when necessary. The pride he once felt in doing everything himself gives way to pragmatism. There's a documentary released in 2012 called Chinese Zodiac. In the behind-the-scenes footage, you can see Jackie directing a young stuntman through a dangerous sequence. The stuntman is nervous. Jackie talks him through it, encourages him, then adds, almost as an afterthought, "Don't be like me. Don't break your body for this." The statement is revealing, not because it's wisdom, because it's impossible. The advice comes too late for Jackie himself, and the young stuntman hearing it is already trapped in the same cycle, already measuring his worth by his willingness to suffer. Jackie Chan is in his 60s now, still working, still filming, but there's a different quality to it, a weariness that the cameras sometimes catch when he doesn't know they're rolling. He's been performing for nearly 60 years, He's been in over 200 films. He's broken more bones than most people know they have. And for what? That's not a rhetorical question. It's the question Jackie seems to be asking himself. He gives interviews where he talks about regrets, about wishing he'd been home more, about wanting to be remembered as more than just the guy who did crazy stunts. He's built an empire, achieved global fame, become a cultural ambassador between East and West. But late at night, in the quiet moments he's spent his entire life running from, does he feel like it was worth it? There's a scene in The Foreigner, a 2017 film where Jackie plays a father seeking revenge for his daughter's death. It's not a comedy. There are no elaborate stunts. Jackie's character is tired, sad, broken in ways that have nothing to do with physical injury. Critics praised the performance, said it showed a new side of Jackie Chan, but people who've been paying attention realize it's not new. It's just the first time he's been allowed to show on screen what he's been carrying off screen for decades. The truth about Jackie Chan is this: he built an identity around being unbreakable, around absorbing punishment and transforming it into entertainment, around making pain look playful, and in doing so, he trapped himself inside a persona that demanded he never be vulnerable in any real sense. He became a symbol, a representation of perseverance and dedication, and the power of hard work. Entire generations have been inspired by his story, by the idea that you can overcome any obstacle if you're willing to sacrifice enough. But symbols aren't allowed to be tired. They're not allowed to be sad or angry or unsure. They have to keep shining, keep inspiring, keep pretending that the cost wasn't too high. Jackie Chan is human. That's the part we forget. Beneath the legend, beneath the carefully maintained image, beneath the empire of films and merchandise and goodwill, there's a man who was given away as a child, who learned that love is earned through suffering, who built a life around proving he deserved to exist. He's still trying to prove it. At 70, after 200 films, after breaking every bone, after achieving everything his 7-year-old self could have dreamed of, he's still trying to prove he's enough. That's the tragedy, not the injuries, not the missed opportunities or the Hollywood rejections or the strained relationships. The tragedy is that Jackie Chan succeeded beyond measure and still carries the wound of that original abandonment, still operates from a place of scarcity, still believes, somewhere deep in the bone, that if he stops moving, he'll cease to matter. His legacy is secure. He's influenced multiple generations of filmmakers and performers. He pioneered a form of action cinema that blends martial arts with comedy in ways nobody has successfully replicated. He proved that Asian actors could be global stars when Hollywood insisted otherwise. He built bridges between cultures during an era when those bridges were desperately needed. But legacy is what other people receive. It's not what you experience. And the experience of being Jackie Chan looks a lot like exhaustion dressed up as dedication, like pain reframed as passion, like a man who was never allowed to stop because stopping meant confronting the emptiness he's been running from since childhood. There's a photograph that sometimes circulates online. Jackie in a hospital bed after one of his many injuries. He's giving a thumbs up to the camera, smiling, reassuring everyone that he's fine, he'll recover, he'll be back. Look at his eyes in that photo. Really look, past the smile, past the thumbs up, past the performance. You'll see what's actually there. Terror, not of the injury. Terror that if he admits how badly it hurts, people will see him as weak, as unworthy, as the frightened boy his parents left behind. That's who Jackie Chan is, not the legend, not the symbol, the boy who learned to turn pain into proof of worth, who built an extraordinary life on a foundation of fear, who discovered that no amount of success can heal an original wound if you never stop moving long enough to acknowledge it exists. He's still making films, still planning projects, still talking about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, because the alternative is silence, and silence for Jackie Chan has always been the enemy. The rooftop in Yugoslavia, the broken branch, the skull fracture that nearly killed him, that should have been the moment he stopped, the moment he recognized his mortality and adjusted accordingly. Instead, he got up, recovered, and kept jumping, because that's what he does. It's all he knows how to do. And the saddest part, we love him for it. We celebrate it. We call it dedication and perseverance, and all the other words we use to romanticize self-destruction when it produces entertainment. Jackie Chan gave us everything. His body, his time, his relationships, his peace of mind. He gave it all willingly, happily even, because he believed that was the price of mattering, of being seen, of finally earning the love that was withheld when he needed it most. And we took it. Every broken bone, every close call, every moment of pain transformed into spectacle. We took it and asked for more. He's still giving, still performing, still proving. The boy who was given away became the man who gives everything. And somewhere in that transformation, Jackie Chan the person got lost, replaced by Jackie Chan the idea, the symbol, the legend. Maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe becoming larger than life was always the point, a way to finally outrun the smallness he felt as a child standing at the gates of the academy, watching his parents walk away. Or maybe he's just tired, and the rest of us are too invested in the legend to let him be human. Either way, the cameras are still rolling, and Jackie Chan is still performing, still smiling, still giving the thumbs up from hospital beds and film sets and public appearances, still trying to prove he deserves to be here, still jumping from rooftops, even now, even when the landing might finally break him, because stopping means facing the silence, and the silence has always been too loud to bear.